Audio test, 1, 2, 3. Good morning.
Hey, TJ.
Yeah, listen. Yeah, this is.
Testing.
Awesome. How are you? Good.
Good morning to our attendees who are joining us here in the Board of Public Works hearing room. If there's any members of the public who wish to offer commentary on any of our items this morning, please fill out a speaker card located in the back of the room on the table, indicate which item you'd like to speak on, and hand it to me. I'll record your information for the record and call upon you when we get to your item. Good morning as well to our attendees joining us on the Zoom virtual platform. I do see a number of attendees attending with their hands raised. I'm going to go through the list of folks and ask which items you would like to speak on, and I'll record your information for the record, and then I will call upon you when we get to that item. I'll start first with Mona M. Mona M., would you like to offer commentary on any of our items this morning? Star 9 to raise your hand, star 6 to unmute. We'll come back to Mona M. Color laser printer, would you like to offer commentary on any of our items this morning?
Yes, good morning. I'd like to offer public comment, general public comment, as well as commentary on all items.
On all items?
Thank you.
Thank you. Put you back on mute. I see that Mona M has unmuted. Mona M? Mona M, would you like to offer commentary this morning? Please speak clearly into your device. Okay, we'll come back to you. Kenny? Kenny, would you like to offer commentary this morning?
Yeah, general public comment.
Very well. Kenny, I have you down for public comment.
All right.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and put you back on mute and lower your hand. Amy's iPhone. Amy's iPhone.
Hi, I'm here. I'd like to have public comment and make one of the items about the groundwater.
Do you know the item number?
I don't remember the item. I don't have, I'm unable to access it from my device right now. If it's about the water, if I can look at my, let me see. I think it looks like, just give me a chance. I'm so sorry because I'm on a little phone and I'm having trouble reading where it is. But it says there's the water issue, the groundwater.
Is it item 4?
Yeah, I believe it would be 4 because I'm just, my eyes, I'm having terrible, small phone. It looks like it's the construction groundwater. Yes, that's 4. Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Okay?
I would
Thank
like to
you.
thank you, Amy.
How many minutes do I have for that?
You have 2 minutes for public comment and then 2 minutes per item.
Oh, okay, thank you.
And I would like to inform you, Amy, as well as our other attendees, that item 4 is going to be continued to October 23rd.
Okay, so then you're not addressing that. Okay, thank
Correct.
you. Okay,
Correct.
then I just do public comment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Amy. I would like to also inform all attendees that item 7 is going to be continued to October 23rd as well. And I do have a user beginning with S face. Would you like to offer commentary on any of our items this morning?
Yes, I would like to offer some public comment.
Public comment? Very well. I have you down for public comment. Mona M, I'm going to come back to you
No, face.
Thank you. Mona M, I'm going to come back to you one final time. I hope you're able to communicate. That's all right. Mona M, I am unmuting you and I'm seeing that you are unmuted, but we are not hearing you. And I do not see your microphone coming on. Oh, it looks like you've dropped off. Maybe we'll try you one more time. Thank you. And again, for those members of the public who are joining us who wish to offer public comment, if you have not already done so, please fill out a speaker card located in the back of the room, indicate which item you'd like to speak on, and turn it in to me. Thank you. Mona M., I see that you've rejoined. Shall we go ahead and see if we can hear your audio input at this time? You should be receiving a pop-up asking you to unmute. Go ahead, Mona M. I'm afraid you may have I'm afraid you may have difficulty with your device this morning, Mona. We're not receiving your audio input. I can see that you've unmuted, but I don't see your microphone moving, indicating to me that your audio input is not coming through, that perhaps your device is muted, or there's some other issue. And I see that you've joined with another device. Go ahead, Mona M.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Would you like to offer commentary on any of our items this morning, Mona?
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Thank you. I had to join a different way, and I'll try and get the echo off. But public comment, please.
Very well. I have you down for public comment. I'm going to go ahead and put you back on mute at this time and lower your hand. And we will call upon you when we get to public comment. Oh, okay, Dr. Davis, I'll go ahead and put us in record mode. And we are now in record mode. President Pro Tem Davis.
Thank you very much. Good morning and welcome to the regular meeting of the Board of Public Works, Wednesday, October the 9th, 2024. Mr. Knight, will you please take the roll and establish quorum?
Yes, good morning, President Pro Tem Davis. This is TJ Knight, Acting Executive Officer, taking a role in establishing quorum. President Pro Tem Davis, Commissioner Corson, Commissioner Grant, and Commissioner Reyes are present. We do have a quorum. We are also joined by City Attorney Representative Virginia Choi. Once again, I'm TJ Knight, Acting Executive Officer. President Pro Tem Davis, we have speaker cards under public comment in the room and on the virtual platform. And we also have speaker cards under all items in the room and on the virtual platform. We have no neighborhood council commentary this morning.
Okay. Today we're going to hear things a little bit out of order and that are, currently listed on the agenda, and we will hear public comment after we hear item number 5 on today's agenda. We are joined this morning, not yet. Oh, no, we're not. At this point, do you want to start public comment first and roll into it, or?
We could go ahead and take public comment. We could begin with public comment, and then if we do see our special guest come in, we can
Yes.
pause public comment and then resume it after we
Sure.
take that item.
Okay, so first we want to hear from, that's Audit LA. Is there an Audit LA here? Oh, great. Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Go ahead and take the microphone down.
Oh, that's right. Thank you for the reminder. See, he's always really good at reminding everyone. He's very good at, responsiveness. So you get a kudos for, you do a good job. And I'm happy to see Commissioner Davis at the helm today. I can't lie. I hope that you become the next president of the council and that we can make Commissioner Corson, what's next in line, vice president or pro tem? I don't know, but yeah. And then the new guy, he's very friendly, so I like him too. Not that I don't like anyone else. We like everybody. But I just wanted to remind you that, I want to give some good news. Okay, the good news is that for right now, the L. Ron Hubbard is opened up, which is a miracle. It's been 6 months of, banging on doors, and it's finally opened up. I don't know for how long, because it looks like they do have some more nonsensical, permits coming. But the planters are still there. The ones that are not ADA compliant for 3 blocks are still not there. So you're kind of still stuck with me. I'm sorry. I know you'd love to get rid of me. Like, I know you think you'd be like so happy when I'm done with all this and I'm out of here. But for now, you're stuck with me because we're still not there yet. But, and I also wanted to say, I was looking into, because I did want to thank the vice president for the other day who did ask the city attorneys, well, like, what can we do? What's, to help? But then I looked into your rules of what you guys can do. And it does say that you guys have the power to do something based on either your own initiative or a complaint against any of the divisions underneath you to get things straight. So you guys do have the power to go to street services and to make sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. So I'm going to ask you, please go to street services and tell them to stop with these endless permits and to please get these non-ADA compliant planters off of these 3 blocks. Thank you.
That's 2 minutes. Thank you. I would like to also note for the record that item 4 is confirmed to be continued to October 23rd, and item 7 is continued to October 23rd. Yes, item 4 and item 7, both.
Okay. Continue. With that, we will start with, as promised, item 5, and I want to read that into.
Let me just briefly inform our members of the public that we are now going to pause public comment, and we'll resume it after we hear this next item.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I want to read item 5, the first on our agenda, into the record. Revocable permit, San Pedro Gateway, sign 6th Street between Harbor Boulevard and Beacon Street. 1, recommending the board authorize the city engineer to issue a revocable permit to encroach within public way, subject to the conditions listed. Hold harmless agreement, the permittee shall execute the attached hold harmless agreement and email a copy to carlos.chides@lacity.org. Covenant and maintenance agreement, the permittee shall execute the attached covenant and maintenance agreement and email a copy to carlos.chides@lacity.org. Insurance requirements, the permittee shall provide proof of liability and property damage insurance satisfactory to the city administrative officer, CAO. The city risk manager recommends coverage in the amount of at least $1 million. Evidence of insurance must be presented annually to the CAO. And also B permit, the design and construction within the public way shall comply with B permit procedures, including any necessary special inspection. In other words, structural review. Plans and structural calculations shall be submitted to the Bureau of Engineering, Harbor District via the online B permit application in the BOE customer service portal. The plans shall be reviewed and approved by the lateral support section of BOE. During the B permit review process, the BOE will forward the plans of the Bureau of Street Services, Bureau of Street Lighting, Department of Transportation, and any other relevant agencies. These agencies will review and approve the plans, ensuring there are no conflicts and obtaining the necessary clearness related to trees, traffic signals, substructures, and utilities. Cultural Affairs approval. The plans shall be reviewed and approved by the Cultural Affairs Department, 201 North Figueroa Street, 14th floor, Los Angeles, 912. The conditions herein must be completed and the B permit issued within 1 year of the adoption of this report. Encroachment, San Pedro Gateway Solar Empowered Cantilever sign, which will be 26 feet in height and span 33 feet across 6th Street between Harbor Boulevard and Beacon Street, and features an emerald light fixture. And speaking on this issue is the Honorable Tim McOsker, Council District 15.
Thank you so much, Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
Tim McOsker of the 1-5. I'm so glad to be here today. And Mr. President, we go way, way, way back. And I'm
Yes,
not
we do.
accustomed to correcting you, but I do have to make one correction. This is not the San Pedro sign. This is the San Pedro sign.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. Okay.
With apologies to our friends here in Latino Heritage Month.
Yes.
We all mispronounce it together.
Yes.
And Commissioner Grant, it's great to see you. I'm so pleased for your confirmation just in the last several days. So thank you so much for
Sure.
giving me the opportunity to speak to you today and for taking this out of order. It's very kind of you. This sign is something that has been in the works for quite some time. It goes
Sure.
back even to my time on the PBID board. I am very grateful to our PBID and to all of our officers and staff and friends at the PBID that have worked so hard on this. This will be a catalytic piece of equipment. This will be an iconic piece, a structure in our downtown San Pedro historic corridor. And I also believe not only will it be a great catalyst for San Pedro and for the waterfront, it's also going to be something that we will emulate across the district. I will say right here and now that what you are doing here in San Pedro, we're going to replicate in Wilmington. We're going to make sure that we have these iconic signages so that people have a sense of place, a sense of home, something that's beautiful for their district, that tells them that we care about them. I appreciate the PBID for what they're doing, and I certainly appreciate the entire city family, the Bureau of Engineering, this board, Cultural Affairs, everyone who has leaned into this. It's taken a long time. The
Yes.
City of LA, we take a long time to do stuff, but when we do it right. This will be a beautiful sign. So I thank you in advance for your support. And again, I want to thank the PBID. I want to thank all of the officers. I want to thank, I'm going to call it especially Janine Ritzy. Janine has been with this from the start, and she's not a board member. She's a hardworking part of our community. Board members, you guys should clap it up for Janine. Thank you. Anyway, thank you very much. My
Thank
day
you.
job is across the hall.
Sure.
I'm gonna head out for the council meeting. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Councilman, and I don't know if any commissioner has any inquiry or questions of the councilman about his presentation. I certainly have noticed the hard work put into this, just simply by reading the description of the work that has been done. Any questions of the commissioners? It looks like I see none. Thank you so much, Councilman. Appreciate you very much. And
Thank you,
we
Commissioners.
will have some of the PBID individuals who have signed up to give remarks. And with that, I want to start out first with Mr. Alan Johnson from the PBID.
Thank you, Commissioner. I think Tim captured it all very well. This is a project we've been working on in downtown San Pedro for quite a while. We've had our ups and downs over the last 20 years that the PBID's been in place, and things are really starting to happen down in the waterfront, down in downtown, and I think the sign really gives us the opportunity to have all the new visitors coming to town between Alta Sea, West Harbor, the cruise terminals. There's just going to be a lot of people driving right by our little downtown that wouldn't necessarily know that it's just up the street. We've got a fabulous, walkable, pedestrian-friendly, lots of new residents coming. So this is our opportunity to let everybody know in a tangible, palpable way that there's a great little downtown up there, and we certainly would appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Eric Eisenberg from the PBID.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for hearing this today. This sign is of utmost importance to our community. We have gone through all the hoops and all the usual process. We had an enormous public design process for this and engaged as many members of San Pedro's population as we could. We've been to the neighborhood council and got unanimous approval, I believe. So the story that's not being told is that those of you that may not have been to our historic downtown, a block up from the waterfront, we have a beautiful historic downtown. We have arts, we have entertainment, we have mom and pop businesses, we have some of the finest restaurants in Los Angeles. But if you're driving on Harbor Boulevard, you don't see any of that. And Harbor Boulevard, I dare say, gets tens of thousands of cars per day going to cruise ships, people going to work at the harbor, people that will be visiting West Harbor, which will be our new development at the waterfront. They have no idea that there's a historic downtown just up the street that's blocked somewhat by two big apartment houses. So this is one of our original goals. When we founded the PBID some 15 years ago, this was part of our original vision, is to have a sign so that we could start to draw those folks up and let them know that we have a wonderful historic community up above Harbor Boulevard. So I urge your support in this. We do have a lot of community buy-in, as you heard from the councilman. So thank you for hearing this today.
And thank you, sir.
Bye.
Next, we have Jacob Eisenberg from the PBID.
Y'all committing a Brown Act violation. Y'all know y'all supposed to take general comment first.
Good morning.
I apologize for that.
No worries. Good morning, esteemed members of the Public Works Department, fellow community members, and stakeholders. My name is Jacob Eisenberg, and I'm here on behalf of the Business Improvement District, our local coalition of property owners and small business advocates. What we're trying to do today is to get this wonderful proposal passed, and it's going to direct tons of tourists who have no idea where to go. They're going to get this wonderful sign, and it's going to show them how to get to the small businesses, how to get to the cafes, and all these, as Eric said, mom and pop shops. I mean, these are the small businesses that are community depends on. It's all part of the creative economy as well. This is the arts district. So I am proud to be here and proud to support this proposal, and thank you for your support as well. Thank you.
And thank you so much for your comments. Audit LA, final comment on this item number 5.
I want to say that, like, I think they're doing a great job. Like, I'm really impressed. Oh, sorry. I know the microphone. Thank you for the reminder. I'm actually impressed that you guys are saying how much you did to get not only the proper permits, but to really check with the whole community about what they want. I have a feeling they're going to self-regulate and make sure they do everything by the book and that you're going to be good neighbors. So I appreciate that, because I was originally going to say, I'm not known necessarily, but holding the commission to task, because as we know, the Church of Scientology does not do that. They work on their buildings, pouring cement without permits. They get endless street closure permits, and all that stuff. So there's not a whole lot of oversight. But I trust them they're going to do their own oversight, I think. So I'm going to stand behind them and say yes, because San Pedro's a lovely area. And there's nothing like a good sign, right, to let people know. So when I go, I'm looking forward to seeing it. You're going to help me know where to go, right? So I support them. And I also want to give, like when it comes to the order, I want to thank you that you didn't put public comment to the end, Commissioner Davis, because that's what the Vice President likes to do. So nobody's heard, and that's not fair. So thank you for this agenda item, and although I think that the public is more important than a city councilman, but I do understand that you guys are doing professional courtesy, so I'm not going to go too hard on that. But I do thank you that you are going straight back to public comment. I salute you for that. But yeah, let's give San Pedro their sign, and please regulate yourself, okay? Though, like, make sure that you're good neighbors always. Thank you. Yeah, let's do it. And I yield back the rest of my time.
Thank you, Audit LA. We do have one commenter on the Zoom platform who wishes to be heard on this item,
Sure.
and that is Color Laser Printer.
Okay.
Go ahead, you have 2 minutes.
I'll actually yield my time for this one and
Okay,
reserve
thank
it for another item.
Thank you. I would like to make a short announcement before we continue. For members of the public offering commentary, please keep on topic. If you do not speak on an agenda item or an item that is within the board's jurisdiction for general public comment, you will be given 2 warnings, and then you will be removed. And this includes interrupting the meeting and unmuting yourself. Thank you.
Okay, with that, can I have a second to my motion to accept item 5?
I had a comment before we move to a vote.
Oh, I'm
if that's
sorry.
okay.
I'm sorry.
It'll be real quick.
Yes, sure.
I want to acknowledge all of you for coming out here. As I was a former president of the Encino Chamber of Commerce, and we also went ahead and put a sign that says, "Welcome to Encino." And I know how much work is involved and the maintenance involved. And we didn't get this many people to turn out to a meeting to get this done. I mean, it speaks to the pride in you have in San Pedro. And I say this as someone who has family who lives in Rancho Palos Verdes. Don't hold that against me. And having been to San Pedro as a guest of the council member, I can see why the turnout is so high. And you may be looking at yourself like 10 of you here may not seem like a lot, but for something like this, on a Wednesday morning to come all the way out on that 110 freeway traffic to get here, I just want to acknowledge that and appreciate that your commitment of not just getting this done, but also your commitment to making sure that the wayfinding to all of the important areas across all of our communities is something that we should all take pride in. So I just want to thank you for coming. And with that.
Sure. And any other comments from commissioners about the work? Okay. With that, we have a motion seconded by Commissioner Reyes on the floor.
And just for my recollection, you made the move.
I made the motion.
Very well.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, President Davis. And we'll take a roll call vote on approval of item number 5, starting with you, President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Corsan.
Aye.
Commissioner Grant.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
All ayes. Item 5 is adopted, subject to conditions forthwith.
Thank you. Next, we'll have item 1 on the agenda. Excuse me.
President Davis, if you'd like, we can resume public comment at this time, since we did interrupt it so that we could hear from Councilmember McOsker. Okay, so we do have a number of other public commenters on the Zoom platform, and we can go ahead and begin with Mona M. Mona M., I'm going to ask you to unmute. Hopefully we'll be able to hear you, and you'll have, go ahead, you have 2 minutes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. We got it covered. Okay, you may be wondering why I'm here every week, sometimes twice a week. In March, an incident, a help sign was put up on a window of the blue building of Scientology. Officers were called, and this is in relation, I'll get to the relationship of this. Officers were called, and when they got there, they checked with security and then just left. Didn't even investigate the sign. And I'm sure the person was punished that put it there. After that incident, the planners were placed there to stop demonstrators. The street was closed off to further deny us of our First Amendment rights. People are not there protesting the religion, but the abuse and the human trafficking within the so-called religion. A few weeks ago, there was a gentleman that was trafficked here from another state. Scientology put him out on the street with $12 to his name. That was it. No way to get back home or even a room for the night. Why? Because they found out he was gay. 2 nights ago, I was watching the demonstrators down at the Blue Building, having a barbecue feeding the unhoused, when I saw a person take a child, maybe 9 or 10 years old, into the building. And I was screaming at the TV, "Kids cannot consent!" Why didn't I call the police? Because to the outside world or even the police, it looks like a simple act. But it's not. Children are being physically and mentally abused, mentally tortured, and sexually exploited, held in a jail without a due process at that Blue Building. So when I'm asking you to do your duty to remove the planners, which is an ADA and Department of Justice violation, which is prohibiting me from obtaining my First Amendment right of free speech to expose the cult. That is why I'm here week after week, and I yield back my time.
And that's 2 minutes. Thank you, Mona M. We'll move next to Color Laser Printer. You'll have 2 minutes to offer your commentary. Go ahead.
Yes, good morning. Thank you. I just want to first start off by thanking Commissioner Davis for doing the right thing, although you did veer off path there for a moment and did not stick to the agenda, but nonetheless, you at least tried, and I want to give commendations for that. So I appreciate that. But next time, do please stick to the agenda items as they appear, which is general public comment being taken first and always. Second, I do also want to commend the folks that have worked behind the scenes to make the clearance of L. Ron Hubbard Way possible. Because those permits, as we all know from Bureau of Street Services, are absolutely bogus, and they explicitly apply just to the parking lot that Scientology owns. So we can all agree that L. Ron Hubbard Way is a public street and will forever remain as such. So it is cleared now, and we shall keep it cleared, because it is in fact a public street and not privately owned land by the cult of Scientology. Secondly, I just want to also share that the building on Fountain Avenue that Scientology owns on 4715 Fountain Avenue, that building needs to have a lien placed on it, and Scientology needs to be charged with felony vandalism. That's California PC 594. There's been massive destruction of public property, namely the sidewalks. Put a lien on the building, charge them. City attorney representative, I know you're there, I know you're hearing me. You want real vandalism charge them with felony vandalism, okay? They've absolutely destroyed the sidewalk. Michael got his case dropped. My case, you bet your ass, is going to have its case dropped. Do your damn job, okay, and go after the real criminals. And also, why haven't you charged the Wendell yet with indecent exposure? It's absolutely disgusting. You need to go after the real...
Thank you. That's 2 minutes. And we'll move next to Kenny. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm calling about the planters. They still ain't moved the planters. And then, if you notice how for the month, L. Ron Hubbard Way was like they had hangers with sheets hanging all around like they in a army or something. But anyway, two people beat the case. They knew the cameras was coming because they was gonna celebrate. All of a sudden, when the cameras was gonna show in the world could see, L. Ron Hubbard was clear of everything. You could drive up there, walk across, everything like it's supposed to be. And then y'all think just because these kids and these people that's being trafficked in a blue building, they can't just run out. Why do you think they have security riding around on bikes, standing at all the entrances and exits? Because they can't leave. That's how they can't tell and call for help. They can't have cell phones. Look at Jennifer, the head of security. Look at, she can only have a pager. And she's supposed to be the head of security in the cult of Scientology, and all she can have is a pager. That's why they can't call and run out. They'll get punished and tortured if they even try. Y'all need to open y'all eyes. And the city attorney, representative, you sitting there, look at Anthony D'Amato Jr. Y'all need to put a warrant out for arrest. From my understanding, LAPD has passed it on to y'all. He sits there every day and threatens people and to ruin their livelihood, their careers. Just talking about sexually assaulting minors. Elderly women, has pictures. You don't even have to look at his videos. Look at his community post. He can't control himself. He's all times of the night, all day, writing harassing statements on his community post. And yet y'all don't arrest him, but you'll arrest innocent protesters that's beating their cases or getting it dismissed. Arrest a real predator. Somebody who already has a restraining order out on them for sexually stalking a minor boy and talking about raping his mother. Anthony D'Amato Jr., CDT on YouTube.
Thank you, Kenny. We'll move next to Amy's iPhone, and it looks like Amy's iPhone has dropped. I do see two additional hands raised. If you like, President Pro Tem, oh, there's Amy's iPhone. Go ahead. Amy's iPhone, do you have 2 minutes?
Yes, I raised my hand again. Okay. I want to just know why certain people are given a pass, like Scientology is not removing their planters. I want to know who's being paid off in your department to allow this to continue, and who was being paid off to allow the continuous street closure of L. Ron Hubbard Way. I think that there's something going on. I don't know who's allowing those planters to stay up. It's dangerous. People can't open their doors to get out. I can't imagine a mother with a baby and she's trying to get her kid out and the planters are blocking her way of getting her baby out. No mother is going to go. When I had a baby, I wasn't going to go on the main street and get my child out on a main road. And how are you going to, when you can't, the door is blocked, and who's going to push their door up, get their baby out, and then you're going to leave your baby outside, then move your car back to the space? That's outrageous. And also, the person with the help sign, I know that's not your purview, but that was exigent circumstances, and I don't know why you're not, why they didn't go in and inspect the building and see what was going on. I don't understand why you're not even going in and inspecting the crack that was on the building. That may not be your department, but it's very unsafe that you're allowing things like this to go on. It's like a two-tiered society, rules for the cult and rules for thee. So I yield back my time, but I would hope that you do something about the safety, because it's a very big embarrassment to you that you're not doing anything about the situation. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. We'll move next to S-Face. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Snotface. Can you hear me?
Yes, you have 2 minutes.
Perfect. So like many before me, I am also calling about the planters that are on the street. I don't understand why Audit LA has to come down to these meetings over and over and over again just so she can make her point to get around the street. It's really ridiculous. I don't understand. They've gotten a notice that these planters need to be removed, and still you guys are doing nothing about it. You're just letting this cult that you guys are supporting. And by the way, I don't actually think that it's great you have a street named after a felon. a ridiculous felon who only perpetuates child abuse. It's ridiculous. I don't understand why you guys are supporting this cult and their illegal construction that they're doing on the streets with no permits. It's a freaking tunnel that they built. I don't understand. They put in a street with child labor. All of those bricks were laid by children. It is ridiculous. Why are you guys supporting this? Everything that Mona and Audit and Kenny and Henry are saying is true. You guys need to look into this. The world is watching you. I'm calling from Chicago. I am not even a resident of LA, but I am watching what you guys are doing, and it's disgusting. I yield back the rest of my time.
Thank you, Esmes. And I do see 2 additional hands raised on the Zoom platform. President Davis, I'll ask if Yvonne Best wishes to offer commentary, public comment or commentary on any of our items this morning. Yvonne?
Yes, thank you. I'm going to bring this around to your purview and line of authority. Monday night at 8 o'clock, 433 Fountain Avenue, there was a construction heard being done, and this, of course, was done without a permit on record. The debris from all of this unpermitted construction is in the bottom of those planters. 2/3 of those planters are filled with construction debris that is from buildings from an era where asbestos and lead was common use. When the city comes and picks them up, please have all of that matter disposed in a hazmat approved dump, not a regular landfill. You must pick those things up, get them tested, dispose of them properly, and bill the Scientology. Otherwise, you're creating hazard on top of hazard on top of hazard that will last a lifetime. Thank you.
Thank you. And I do have 1 additional hand raised. Defender of Ants, do you wish to offer public comment this morning?
Oh, I would love to.
And go ahead, you have 2 minutes.
Yes. Do you guys understand who you guys are protecting? You're allowing these planters. These people literally believe that some dude went to the Galactic Federation, took a bunch of people, put them in ice cubes, dumped the ice cubes in a volcano. Then when those thetans or thetans came out of that volcano, they went on to people. And those people, you have to pay Scientology to get rid of these spirits. And how do you do it? They sometimes use children, 12 to 13 years old, in hotel rooms to ask those questions to get those thetans off. So this is who we're supporting. We're not supporting. I've been to jail 3 times this year. All charges dropped. I did 6 days in a cage because I'm not afraid to speak up. I beat a restraining order two months ago, an anti-SLAPP suit that cost Francois Coster, the owner of La Poubelle, they have telephone poles outside, and they're coming out with erect penises on signs showing them the minors and putting those logs back into the street. She owes our lawyer $175,000. On Monday, I successfully beat another restraining order against Kendrick Moxon. Y'all are liable to this. You have culpability because you're aware of what's going on, and you're going to end up in a Title 42 when our lawyers get our hands on you. So please remove the effing planters. It's so easy, and get those logs off of in front of La Poubelle. There's telephone poles just sitting in the road. Someone's going to get killed, and you guys are going to be liable to it. Make something happen. Why are you being so quiet about it? Why aren't you speaking up? Why aren't you being the squeaky wheel?
And that's
you
2
can make a
minutes.
difference.
Thank you. And Commissioner Davis, that concludes public commentary for this morning's agenda.
Okay, we'll proceed with the Next item, item number one.
But I'm sorry to interrupt you. If you like, we can do approval of minutes for, before we move to item one.
Okay.
So we would need a first and a second. This would be for approval of minutes for Friday, September 20th, 24. A first and a second.
Okay, first.
Second.
Motion.
Thank
Motion.
you. And we'll take a roll call vote, starting with you. Commissioner Davis?
Aye.
Commissioner Grant?
Aye.
Commissioner Corsan?
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes?
Aye.
All ayes, and approval of minutes is unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you. Item one, Memorandum of Understanding, California Natural Resource Agency and Chinese American Museum, recommending the board, one, authorize the city engineer or designee relative to the deposition of the CNRA State Specified Grant 2A, finalize and execute a grant agreement with CNRA to administer the state-specific grant project and submit all documents, including the project information package, to CNRA, and B, negotiate and execute an MOU, and if required, future MOU amendments with CAM in accordance with the terms substantially similar to those set forth in the aforementioned grant agreement, WOE 1909-203. And presenting from BOE is Stephen Fierce.
And just to interrupt, and I apologize, Commissioner Davis. So we do have commenters on item number one on the virtual platform and here in the room. It's your discretion whether you wish to hear the staff report first or to.
Want to have Mr. Fierce present first.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, good morning. Hi, again, I'm Steve Fierce. I'm the principal architect at Bureau of Engineering. And so to get a little background on this MOU, so in mid-November of 2021, the CNRA notified the city that the state-specified funds were approved for 5 Los Angeles community-based organizational projects. The city is designated as the grantee and pass-through administrator for these grant funds. The Chinese American Museum is one of the 5 organizations approved for the special funds. The museum is housed in the oldest and last surviving structure of Los Angeles, original Chinatown, the Garnier Building, and the museum is seeking to develop a new Unity Garden with an overall theme representing the workers' garden reflective of the Chinese American immigrants' experience during the second half of the 19th century. The Chinese American Museum will be solely responsible for the construction services provided for the project, as well as the Chinese American Museum has provided a cost estimate for the project. The total project estimate is $2 million. The city bears the responsibility of supervising and distributing the allocated funds and is accountable for the expenditure incurred by the city staff. Any additional costs accrued beyond the allocated funding shall be reimbursed by the city to the Chinese American Museum. So with that, that concludes my presentation. If you have any questions.
We have one additional in-room commenter on item
Sure. Yes, sir. You finished presenting?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Thank you.
And we will have public comment, and then we'll have comments from the commissioners afterwards. With that, I wanted to thank you, Mr. Fierce, and we'll certainly engage with additional questions if there are any. Audit LA.
Commissioner Davis did it right. You let them present first, and then let the community, so we can hear what we want to talk about.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I always forget. Thank you for the reminders. City Attorney, just a reminder that I talk comparisons, and I do go into historical context for every single item that I will ever speak on. So, so Commissioner Davis, thank you for doing it the correct way for the people. Thank you for putting the people before the board. You're doing it right, and so see why I want you for president. And I hope you get that spot. But regarding number one, You know, I'm excited to hear that there's going to be a Chinese American museum. I want to go. Like, it sounds wonderful. The only thing I just want to remind and ask, though, with the commission, is to hold everyone really like scrutinize permits. I have a feeling they're going to do everything by the book, because only because in comparison, Scientology does not do it by the book. So it's just left me weary, on how things can go corrupted very easily, and puts the public in danger. Like if they're doing building or anything like that unpermitted, they're not being overseen for how they dispose of things, because they're absolutely right that the rubble is going into the planters, and God help anyone. I feel bad for the public that they have to breathe this in. So I have a feeling you're going to do everything right. So I support them, but please just make sure though that all the I's are dotted. And T's crossed, and but with everything that comes before you, all of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Gay Yuan from the Chinese American Museum.
Thank you, Mr. President, and
Welcome.
thank you, commissioners, for letting us have time to talk about this. I'm urging a favorable vote for this agenda item. It's been 3 years since I've petitioned the state and was awarded $2 million to the Chinese American Museum via the city of Los Angeles. And thank you for talking about the history, the buried history of what happened just at our footsteps, right, our doorsteps in 1871. On October 24th this year, we will be commemorating the 153rd anniversary of the massacre, the worst massacre that ever happened to the Chinese in west of the Mississippi. Originally, the garden was conceptualized to pay tribute and to remember the 18 that were viciously murdered that night in 1871. But as I did research, we found out that, like today, that area where our museum lay also is home to many disenfranchised groups. Native Americans, Italians, French, everyone. And at that point, our board decided rather than calling it a memorial garden, we're going to call it a unity garden. Because especially today with the state of the world, we want to pull the people together in unity and not just commemorate one incident that happened 153 years ago. So please, I beg you to vote yes. It's been 3 years, $2 million sitting for 3 years now, and we can't access the money to even design the garden yet. So please vote yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Certainly, I think those who ignore history are destined to repeat it. And I think that the research just talked about is critically important as the mayor's office and all of those who are in leadership in Los Angeles aspire to have inclusion. Understanding the history of every culture is critically important. And I will add that during the time I served in the legislature, had the privilege of having a book given to me by Dr. Stephen Sample, who was the president of USC, that told the history of Chinese Americans in terms of their experience here in California. And so this is very important history, and I have the greatest admiration for the research that you have done and think that we all need to know that story. With that, if there are any questions or inquiries from the commissioners.
Dr. Davis, I'm sorry to interrupt. We do have one attendee via the Zoom platform who has put in a request to speak on this item. So let me see if that individual is still in the room. I do not see their handle.
Yes.
Color Laser Printer.
Yes.
Just asking if you are in the room. And I believe Color Laser Printer has left. So we have concluded commentary on item number 1.
Okay. Commissioner Grant.
Thank you, President Davis. And thank you, congrats to the department for facilitating this, but especially the Chinese American Museum. I'd be remiss, Monday is National Indigenous Peoples Day, and we celebrate the contributions, the legacy, and frankly, a time to reflect on the crimes that the city committed, or those within the city, against peoples who have contributed to building this community. And I'm especially proud that we're able to take this opportunity to, in fact, bring back and honor the contributions that were made. It also is, I think, important to note, especially in this time, as mentioned, of divisiveness, hatred, and fear that's being mongered throughout the country, that in fact we embrace and recognize the contributions of different peoples. And for the Department of Public Works, I think it's important that we recognize that we realize the relationship between place and history, and the site of a museum on the last standing LaGuardia building, I think, reaffirms that. And lastly, I think, is as a sort of revanchist attempt to privatize more and more of public spaces, that in fact, we reaffirm our commitment to a public space where we can come together with a workers' garden as well. I think you're to be congratulated for your perseverance, your dedication, and I think the creativity about bringing this together. Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to echo also what Commissioner Grant has stated, because here at the Board of Public Works, our mission is to improve the quality of life for every Angelino, and we are entrusted with ensuring that our work meets the needs of all residents. But at the core of that work is really the belief that every community, no matter the size or location, deserves to be seen, heard, and respected. So our work reflects the diversity of our city, and this is one of those projects that, that we want to highlight and really support. And it honors, communities that have been here for generations. It honors the histories of those communities. And with that, I would just like to thank everyone who is, behind the project. The $2 million that was spent was really worthwhile. And, we have to wait many years for things to happen. But this is something that, is a highlight for the community. And as you said, the theme of unity really captures the essence of what we are here for, the belonging in our diverse communities that the city represents.
Thank you. May I receive a motion to accept item number 1?
Second?
It's been moved and appropriately second, and can we have a roll call?
Yes, we'll take a roll call vote on approval of item number 1, starting with you, President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Corsand.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
All ayes. Item number 1 is approved and will move forward forthwith.
Thank you so much. And next is item number 2, revised task order solicitation, TOS number 12, SOMAS, recommending the board, 1, authorize the city engineer to issue a revision of the task for TOS number 12 to SOMAS, increasing the budget authority from $18,605 to $19,605 for project management and program services for the Build LA project, WOE 190 8030 and C 13-4 269. Presenting will be Lindsay, is it Nash? Is that correct? Thank you.
Good morning, Board of Public Works. Lindsay Nash, GIS and Mapping Division with the Bureau of Engineering. I'm going to start with a little background on the project. I know we've got a new commissioner on board, and then go into the funding and the recommendation from there. The purpose of the Build LA project is to implement a centralized, automated, easy-to-use portal where a customer of the city's development services can quickly and easily be updated on the status of all of their city permits. In order to get there, several departments and bureaus are working diligently within their existing web applications to prepare the connections that are necessary for compatibility with the upcoming Build LA portal. TOS number 12 includes staff-augmented project management and programming services for various development services departments for their departmental projects and the overall multi-departmental project. One of BOE's largest efforts in this project is migrating all of our existing web applications from a programming framework called Cold Fusion to a more secure framework called ASP.NET. Not only will this migration provide security behind the many development services functions of our Bureau, it will create consistency in code for ease of knowledge transfer and future upgrades and maintenance of those applications. The entire Build LA team has been working tirelessly and through various complexities to deliver this tool to the development community, and we plan to soft launch the customer portal this month. From there, we will gather feedback and begin enhancing the customer experience by bringing in new data and services in the portal over time. So we have two types of trust funds that we've utilized for this task. We have the Engineering and Equipment Training Trust Fund, which is a special fund from a 7% surcharge on BOE permits and services. There's also what we call the 3% fund, but it's the Development Services Trust Fund, which is a citywide 3% surcharge on development services. It was increased from 2% to 3% back in 2016. That 1% is solely for this project. With that, the city engineer has approved an allocation of $1 million in 7% funding for this project and recommends that the Board of Public Works approve the authorization to revise this task and add these funds to TOS number 12 for a total authorization of $19,605,000. That concludes my report. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions, commissioners? Commissioner Reyes.
I know how important this project is, but I want to know what is the vision for the completion of this project? It's been multiple TOS already, and I know there is funding, but I'm more interested in a comprehensive outlook as to where we are at this point. How much more time do we need to complete this important project? How many staff have been augmented? Because this is a request again for staff augmentation to manage the project.
Yes, lots of questions there. So a lot of that is memorialized in the Build LA project charter, which was approved by the Executive Steering Committee led by the Mayor's Office back in 2022. Right now, we're doing a lot of work, with the emergency orders and lots of things that have come through the Mayor's Office. So a lot of our scope has kind of deviated from the streamlined Build LA project. SOMAS has been pretty gracious with being able to step in and provide a lot of services that, have really helped us in being able to develop the affordable housing tracking system and others. As far as the completion date, like I said, we plan to soft launch this month. We are opening it up to a list of stakeholders that we've worked with in the development community. From there, we want to gather their feedback and really fine tune it. Right now, we are only going to be providing data for permits and services, but we're going to continue to add more functionalities to that portal as time goes on. So it'll be a one-stop shop where they could come in, they could make appointments through that portal, they can check on clearances and other sort of development services functions that won't be there at soft launch. So, a lot of programming projects that we do aren't like your normal capital improvement project. We don't just deliver it and walk away. We continue to upgrade and enhance as time goes on based on the feedback we get from the users. So it's kind of a tough question to answer, but the meat and bones of it is going to be out this year.
So in terms of the funding, again, because I would expect there's a lot more TOS coming in, because it's like we're building this from scratch. We're building this as the needs develop in terms of, the different projects that are being developed here in LA, and the different types of permits and all of the activities that happen for those projects. So as we're building that and making sure that the data we capture works, that 1% and the other type of funding is that going to be an evergreen type of funding so that then we are assured that we are not drawing from the general fund, that we are indeed secure in terms of project program expansion, that we have a stable source of funding?
Yeah, there's actually a council motion that was adopted back in August for us to, with the city attorney and the CAO and building and safety, to look at that surcharge and see what the future looks like for it. So we're in collaboration with them at this time. We do know that right now that surcharge is set to sunset back to 2%. Anticipated for the spring of next year. So we're working to see what we can do for this project. So what I can tell you too is annually we go to the city council through the Plum Committee for funding. And we plan to go the beginning of 2025. And at that point, I will come back before your board and ask to be able to authorize funds, if so granted by the city council, for this project. And we currently have reported to council that we're looking at about $16 million in the multi-departmental project. That's just one portion of the project. So we're all working over here on our departmental projects, which is what this specific board report before you is considering. But we right now have had the authorization from the board in $9 million of that $16 million the budget that we've presented to the city council. So we can anticipate at least about a $7 million increase.
And then last question in terms of the consultant, right? Are we sticking to just one consultant, or is there a plan to add more consultants on board?
So for this task order, once we feel like we've gotten far enough in it and could knowledge transfer a lot back to the city, I think that would be something we'd be willing to consider. Right now, we really need this assistance from their staff augmentation. But that is something, of course, it's up to your board if we're going to continue going that route.
We'd love to hear your recommendation moving forward.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we do have a public comment from Audit LA.
First of all, I want to thank, first of all, thank you, Commissioner, for letting her go first, because I was just going to come up here and say, what, they want more money? Heck no, but when I hear what she's saying, it sounds like they're trying to do a program to actually help benefit the citizens to have better access, if I'm understanding correctly. Because right now, the permit, we're always trying to track these permits that Scientology is getting, and they're making it less accessible to the public. It's like they purposely don't want us to know what's coming or what's being approved. And so anything that helps the public do better, it's great. So, so that's what I mean by having them go first. We understand more clearly. And thank you, Commissioner Reyes, for asking the questions. And I heard you being very mindful about the budget and, where is this all coming from? You're thinking about the people's purse. And I'm going to give you a shout out and thank you for that because, I'm going to say this every time too. LAPD gets the biggest lion's share of our budget. So everyone else has to, get whatever is left over and divvy it up amongst themselves. So thank you for being mindful of the budget. Thank you. And if you can ever, give the money back to the city when it's not needed, I ask you to do that. Let's always think of the people, the public, and because it's really, we appreciate everyone that does their job here, but it's really about the public. Thank you. I yield back the rest of my time.
Can I receive a second to my motion to accept item number 2? Okay. We have a motion by me and seconded by Commissioner Reyes to accept item number 2.
Very well. We'll take a roll call vote on approval of item number 2, starting with you, President Pro Tem Davis.
Davis, aye.
Commissioner Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Corsand.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
All ayes. Item number 2 is adopted and will move forward forthwith.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Naish, for your presentation. We have next item 3, memorandum of agreement, Santa Monica Bay Beaches Dry and Wet Weather Bacteria Total Maximum Daily Loads Coordinated Shoreline Monitoring plan. Recommending the board approve and forward this report to the transmittal of the mayor for authority to execute the proposed MOA between the City of Los Angeles and the County of Los Angeles County Flood Control District, California Department of Transportation, and the cities of Agoura Hills, Calabasas, El Segundo, Hidden Hills, Malibu, Santa Monica, Thousand Oaks, and Westlake Village regarding the cost sharing for implementing the Santa Monica Bay Beaches dry and wet weather bacteria total maximum daily loads coordinated shoreline monitoring plan. And 2, upon the mayor's authorization, the president and 2 commissioners of the Board of Public Works and the general manager of the Bureau of Sanitation will execute the memorandum of, the memorandum of agreement. And with that, we have presenting Richard Tavalassi and Miller Zhu. Is that correct?
Hello, good morning. It's Richard Tavalacci. Oh, a little bit? Okay, thank you. Yes, good morning, Commissioners. So my name is Richard Tavalacci. I'm an environmental engineering associate with LA Sands Watershed Protection Division. The focus of our work, both mine and Miller's, is monitoring and regulatory compliance for the LA region watersheds. So I'm joined by Miller, who's my supervisor, and we're here to request board approval to execute a new cost-sharing agreement for the Santa Monica Bay Beaches bacteria monitoring. So the purpose of our request is to renew the MOA contract that was established between the city and 11 other public agencies to cost-share our monitoring requirements for the Santa Monica Bay Beaches bacteria TMDLs. So this new 5-year agreement will represent the 6th iteration of this contract since 2003. And the TMDL regulatory requirements were established in 2002. So since then, for about 22 years, LA Sands Environmental Monitoring Division has been sampling, testing, and reporting bacteria levels at the beaches along Santa Monica Bay to meet these requirements. To accomplish this monitoring, LA Sand does implement a plan called the Coordinated Shoreline Monitoring Plan, which lists the sampling protocols, test methods, and reporting procedures. And this plan was approved by the LA Regional Water Board in 2004. So there's actually 2 LA Sand divisions that work on this contract, EMD, which handles the technical side, and our division, Watershed Protection. So EMD is responsible for monitoring 31 beach locations along the bay and reporting the data to the LA Regional Board. Meanwhile, our division, WPD, has been handling the contract renewals, invoicing, and general administration of this MOA. Besides compliance purposes, the data collected for this program also serves as a basis for public health advisories if bacteria levels at the beaches are found to be elevated. In terms of cost sharing, it's primarily based on the land area that each agency owns for each monitoring location, and the city has always been the lead administrator of this contract. As such, each participating agency in this agreement will reimburse the city annually for providing these monitoring services and data, which will in turn help them meet their own regulatory obligations since they are subject to the same TMDLs as the city. Now, if a participating agency in this agreement were to drop out of the MOA, then the city would notify the LA Regional Board, as that agency would then be responsible for doing their own monitoring and reporting, or they risk being in violation with the TMDLs and the MS4 stormwater permit. In terms of the budget, the estimated cost of this monitoring plan over the 5-year MOA term is about $2.6 million, with the city contributing $1 million and the other 11 agencies will be contributing $1.6 million. Now this cost estimate is based on a cost per sample, which includes laboratory and labor and laboratory analysis. Then that's multiplied by how many samples we expect to collect over the next 5 years, since we know the sampling frequency will remain very consistent, with 25 sites being visited weekly and 6 sites being visited daily, or 5 times per week. Now, each participating agency will then reimburse us a percentage of this cost based on the land area they own at each sampling location. In terms of the schedule, so this MOA will be 5 years with an optional 1-year extension. It is retroactive to July 1st of 2023 because the previous contract expired on June 30th of 2023. So that allows for no gap in coverage, so we can continue providing this service. And then the MOA will then continue until June 30th of 2028, unless we opt for that 1-year extension. So in summary, this MOA renewal will allow for the city to continue to be reimbursed for providing Santa Monica Bay Beach bacteria monitoring services on behalf of the other participating agencies in the region. We want to thank you for your time today, commissioners, and we're happy to take any questions at this point.
Commissioner Grant.
Thank you for your report. The existing contract expired in June of 2023.
Correct, yes.
So we've been out of friendship, cooperating without a contract for the last year?
So we worked with the other agencies and we wrote in the contract that they would be reimbursing us up to July 1st of 2023 because there was a delay in getting the new contract established so that and the agencies were agreeable to this. We met with them and made sure that they were agreeable to this this notion.
So it took 15 months post the expiration of the contract to get a new agreement? Is that what I'm hearing?
I'm sorry, can you repeat
that? It took
that?
15 months of negotiations post the expiration of the contract to secure a new memorandum of agreement?
Yes, it was started before the contract expired, but it's taken quite a while to get to this point.
And is the contract fundamentally different than the previous one?
Is it funded differently?
Fundamentally different, either in kind?
No, it's not funded. The funding will be fundamentally the same.
I'm just having a hard time understanding what took 15 months if it's fundamentally the same.
Well, it required a lot of research and investigation into the history of the agreement so that we could, we had to make sure that we could meet with the new representatives since the previous contract expired in 2017. So we had to establish communication with the new members, new participants of the agreement. And we had to have a lot of meetings with the other agencies. And we went through several layers of review of the new contract, starting with the city itself and also their legal representation. So that's why we've been able to finalize the MOA fairly recently, just a few months ago. And the other agencies are all agreeable to this, and we've been getting some signed copies of the MOA back from the other agencies. So that's mainly why it's been taking so long. It's just because we've had to have a lot of discussion with these agencies over the
It
past.
seems like, right, a lot of discussion. There are new players that had to be brought on board. And I appreciate the fact that prior to the expiration, apparently, you secured agreement that we will be reimbursed, or once the new agreement is put into place.
That's correct.
And I've negotiated contracts where some parties lag their feet in returning them signed, but obviously the concern is a liability of the city, or the liability of the fact that we won't get reimbursed should contracts go without being secured. I don't know what, in terms of the next expiration, this contract goes 5 years, is that right?
Yes, 5 years.
Maybe start now on the next one?
Yes, I think it's lessons learned. I think we'll have to start several years in advance for the next one. I agree.
I wanted to ask, in terms of the new participants in the agreement, who are the newer participants in this agreement?
Well, we've been having the agencies listed on this current contract, the one that we are presenting today, have all participated in the past and to some extent on the agreement. So all these agencies are listed in the Shoreline Monitoring Plan, which the one that was established in 2004.
Sure.
So that that's why those agencies were listed back in 2000. The first contract, I believe, was started in 2003.
Right.
And over the last 20 years, we've been maintaining a similar contract.
So all of these participants that we see in the motion today were there with us from the beginning in 2003. Is that correct? Thousand Oaks, Malibu, Hidden Hills, et cetera?
There is 1,000 Oaks, I believe, did not participate last time, but they are agreeing to
So
participate.
they're one of the newer ones that joined on.
Yeah, they were on the contract in the past, and I talked to one of the representatives from Thousand Oaks. They're not sure why they didn't participate last time, but
I see.
they are agreeable this time.
They did benefit even though they didn't participate, did they not?
I don't think they did. I
see.
I don't think they were benefiting from the services.
So that therefore we weren't, in terms of compliance, the work that we do to make sure that we're in compliance is to evaluate the levels of bacteria along the area, correct?
Yes.
So in doing so, what have been the challenges more recently that we have discovered, if any, in terms of compliance as we look at the work that we have paid to be done?
I would say one of the main challenges is wet weather bacteria, because after a storm event, typically the beach bacteria levels are found to be elevated. And fortunately, the city of LA, and I believe there's been partner agencies on this, have built a lot of projects along the bay to capture dry weather runoff.
Right.
So dry weather has been notably better than wet weather. Wet weather has been the main challenge that I've been seeing in my experience.
Right.
Because we can't capture all that water at this time.
Sure. Well, I'm very glad to see that Thousand Oaks has joined, because I don't think bacteria follows the agreements that we do or don't do in terms of bacteria and challenging the area. And I think that what you're doing, obviously, is critically important to the health and safety of our region. And very glad to know that Los Angeles is in the leadership of coordinating these very valuable services for us. So thank you so very much for the work that you do in this project. Any other questions or comments from commissioners? Hearing and seeing none,
Just one.
Oh, sure,
just one.
sure. Commissioner
Just for my edification, during rainy weather, we do collect more samples, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
If there is a stipulation in the plan that if we find exceedances, then they will do accelerated monitoring
Right.
to determine when the exceedances subside.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
May I have a second to my motion to accept?
President Pro Tem Davis.
I'm sorry, you're right. We have public comment, and I apologize. Audit Los Angeles, public comment. Yeah.
But you're turning things around in the right way, so you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's great. And I wasn't gonna comment because they went first. They pretty much answered everything for me and all the good questions. I appreciate it. Like, this has been the best meeting in all the 6 months, and I love it. It makes me happy. But I did have a last minute question, basically because you're talking about the runoff and bacteria and stuff, and as it was brought up earlier, concerned about the illegal, all the debris from all the illegal unpermitted construction and rubble. Like, how is that going to affect the stormwater once it rains? And I don't know all the areas where they're doing it, but I hope it would include that area, because it's already known for a fact that they are doing illegal permit stuff, and you're dealing with asbestos. You're dealing with, we don't know, and it's not being disposed of properly. So and if they're in these planters, this rubble's in the planters, and that water is going to leak into our streets, and I'm worried about that. And that's just honest God's truth. And so I hope they can include that area when it comes to testing for bacteria or any other thing that's dangerous. Thank you. I yield back my time.
Thank you. May I receive?
I'm sorry.
Do we
Tim,
have another?
We do have someone with
Sure.
their hand raised on the Zoom platform. I'll see if
Sure.
if the user, Yvonne Best, wishes to offer commentary on the current item which we are on, which is item 3.
Yes, I
Go
would
ahead.
like, I applaud the testing Once upon a time, I flunked a test in my multiplication tables. I went back and learned my multiplication. The testing of the water reveals the problem. The real question needs to then be, what do we do to fix the problem? And I know that there have been efforts made, and included in that is doggy sanitation sites. Well, that should lead to the need for the human sanitation sites or public restrooms, particularly in the areas of Hollywood Boulevard and the adjacent blocks where people can't find a public access to a restroom and they defecate on the curbs or in the streets. This eventually gets power washed or rain washed down into the drainage system. In the long term, we need to deal with what is causing the bacteria rather than just testing and saying, yep, it's there. And I hope that this council or this organization here and the testing agencies come up with a plan to fix the problem, not just report on it. Thank you.
Thank you. And that concludes commentary on item number 3 this morning.
Okay. May I receive a second to my motion to accept item number 3?
So move. Second.
Thank you. Motion by me and seconded by Commissioner Grant.
Very well. We'll take a roll call vote on approval of item number 3, starting with you, President Pro Tem Davis.
Davis, aye.
Commissioner Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Corson.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
All ayes. Item number 3 is adopted and referred to the mayor forthwith.
Thank you so much. Our next item, AFE South Coast Air Quality Management, Bureau of Sanitation, and Office of Accounting are requesting board approval and execution of an authority for expenditure in the amount of $273,000 for the encumbrance of funds to pay permit and license fees as required by the South Coast Air Quality Management District for the period of July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025. AE 257 606 4M, Fund 760, Sewer Operations and Maintenance Fund, Department 50, Appropriation Unit 50 AX 82. And presenting is Kenneth Pham.
Hi, good morning, Commissioners. My name is Kenneth Pham. I work with LA Sanitation and Environment. I'm with the Air Pollution Control Group at the Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant. Today, I'm asking for your approval and execution of the authority for expenditure in the amount of $273,000 for permitting and licensing fees with the Air Quality Management District. The previous amount last year was $236,000, and this year it's been increased to $273,000, due to increased fees over the last year, inflation, and additional contingency for any other unforeseen circumstances that may come up. Thank you.
We do Audit LA. Please approach the podium and you'll have 2 minutes to offer your commentary. And this is on item 6.
Remember the microphone. And this one's going to be real quick because I'm going to reserve the rest of my time. Basically, since it's the Department of Sanitation, I am just going to ask you if you could please send them over and get rid of those planters on their way to doing this job. I yield back the rest of my time.
Thank you.
Concludes commentary on item
Okay,
number
any questions? Commissioner Grant.
Thank you for your report again. So the payment of the permit and license fees are some 3.5 months late, at least, is that correct?
No, so we usually get invoice during this period of time, during the fiscal year, and then there's other fees that may come up later on. So maybe Hyperion has a new permit for a new equipment that's happening. So we'll need to pay AQMD those fees at the time we apply for that permit, or if we need a variance. So, for example, last year during the Atmospheric River event, we needed a variance for one of our permit conditions to be able to handle the incoming flow being caused by that rainstorm.
Okay, I'm a little slow. So but this covers the period of July 1st through June 30th next year. So for the last 3.5 months, we received permission we were permitted but hadn't paid the fees. Is that correct? Or am I
We
missing
get invoiced, so we
You-
got
so they
invoiced back in
invoiced late?
September.
So I wish my bills were like that. That's good. Thank you then. But if we're paying relatively promptly upon receipt of the bill,
I'm sorry.
we're paying requesting payment relatively promptly upon receipt of the bill from the AQMD. Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, just an
Commissioner
additional
Reyes.
comment. It's an encumbrance, so they encumber the fund, so they'll be able to pay once the invoice gets in.
Any other questions? Okay, with that, we will have, can we have a second to my motion? Okay, and we have a motion by me, seconded by Commissioner Reyes, to accept item number 6.
Very well. We'll take a roll call vote on approval of item number 6, starting with you, President Pro Tem Davis.
Davis, aye.
Commissioner Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Corson.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
All ayes, and item number 6 is approved and will move forward forthwith.
Thank you so much, Mr. Is it Pham, right? Thank you, sir. Next, we have an AFE, State Water Resources Control Board. Bureau of Sanitation and Office of Accounting are requesting board approval and execution of an authority of expenditure in the amount of $685,440 for the encumbrance of sewer construction and maintenance funds for the annual NPDES and stormwater fees as required by the State of California State Water Resources Board, a state regulatory agency per California Water Code Section 13260. These annual fees are required in order to discharge the processed wastewater produced by the Donald C. Tillman Reclamation Plant for the period covering July 1st through June 30th, 2025. AE 257-609-77M, Fund 760, Sewer Operations and Maintenance Fund, Department 50, Appropriation Unit 50AX82. And presenting is Ronald Mayu. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Play,
Good morning. Good morning, commissioners. My name is Ron Mayuyu. I'm the division manager from LA Sanitation and Environment, in charge of the DC Tillman Water Reclamation Plant. I'm here to request the board to approve and execute the authority for expenditure that will encumber SCM funds to pay for the annual NPDES and stormwater fees as required by the State of California State Water Resources Control Board. These annual fees are required in order for us to discharge the processed wastewater produced by the DC Tillman Water Reclamation Plant, which is located within Council's District 6. This authority is requested for the period covering July 1st, 2024 through June 30, 2025. There is no impact to the general funds and are being encumbered in advance of the invoice receipt to ensure timely payment. Thank you. That's the end of my presentation, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay. We do also have a public comment from Audit LA on this item, number 9.
Just to clarify, everything else is pushed to another time, and this is the last agenda item for today?
No, just to offer clarification. So the presiding officer, President Pro Tem Davis, has skipped item 8, but we'll return to that after we hear item 9.
can I do a time check, including all
Sure.
my reserve time? And don't forget, public comment doesn't count.
Sure, you have, so far you've used 6 minutes of your allotted 10 minutes time.
Oh, so we're good. So I can use my 2 minutes. Thank you. You guys get to hear me out for a minute. All right, we're ready.
Go ahead and pull the microphone down.
I'm going to get it. Thank you, Commissioner Grant. You came and you're already asking all the questions, and I appreciate that. So I don't know, Commissioner Quartzand, who's going to get second spot, when he's president. We're going to have to see.
right.
He's okay, sorry. We had to have some levity here because we talk about serious stuff, right? The people's business. So on this one, again, it's just, it's the money thing. Just, I want you guys to be very careful with our money because we don't have a whole lot because LAPD gets and I'm not against them having a nice share of money. I mean, we need it's not anti-police anything, but they get so much that it really leaves everybody else to kind of fight for everything else. So I'm really mindful because we need you guys. We need all your maybe not all the projects, but we need projects. We need our infrastructure and everything. So I'm all for it. But again, just asking you because of with the water resources and everything, we're very concerned about either the street flooding during rain, but also, like we said, the bacteria and everything that's going into our system and going into our water table. And, and I'm not the smartest person here. The other caller is you guys are much smarter. You know how it all works, but I just don't want anything getting into my drinking water, for me and my family. And so that's why we had to trust you guys to really make sure everything's done right, make sure the permits are correct, make sure everything that you're asking the tough questions. And I mean it when I said this has been my favorite meeting so far. It just has a nice different feel to it, and I hope this continues. But so I just want to remind you, please, and please, and not only remove, like I said, those planters, but make sure that they do it in a way that is safe for our environment, that before the rain happens. Thank you.
That's 2 minutes. And President Pro Tem Davis, we do have a hand raised in the virtual platform. If you'd like, I can see if Yvonne Best wishes to offer commentary on item 9.
Yes.
Go ahead.
In the same theme of water goes downhill, and so does the affluence of our sewage treatment plants. And my concern is that we don't address what is going into the sewage processor, and that includes the dust and micro elements of the lead and asbestos of demolishing buildings built in the 20s to 30s and so forth. The outflow, we know that the outflow into our oceans includes excessive amounts of caffeine, and drugs and so forth are evident as well, because the sewage treatment process doesn't clean that up. The sewage treatment process will not be cleaning up the asbestos and lead that is put into the environment and enters into the sewage treatment process. It will concentrate and make our oceans sicker than they already are. So again, I want to call attention to the importance of NPDES in their function of controlling the waste from the origin and making sure that it is not going to enter into the water stream. This is a very important fund to keep paying and paying on time. Thank you.
Thank you. And that concludes commentary on item number 9.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions of Mr. Mayu in terms of item number 9? Hearing and seeing none, may we have a motion to accept item number 9?
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Kursan, seconded by Commissioner Reyes. Please do the tally, sir.
Very well. We'll take a roll call vote on approval of item number 9, starting with you, President Pro Tem Davis.
Davis, aye.
Commissioner Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Corson.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes. Aye. All ayes. Item 9 is approved and will move forward forthwith.
Thank you.
Thank you
And so just to clarify, we skipped over item 8 to go to item 9. We still have one
Okay,
item outstanding.
Item 8?
Yes.
Not a problem. We have an AFE, Jordan Kaufman, KCTTC, Bureau of Sanitation and Office of Accounting are requesting board approval and execution of an authority for expenditure in the amount of $160,600 for the encumbrance of funds to pay property taxes as levied by the Kern County Treasurer Tax Collector for the period of July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025. AE 257-658M, Fund 760 Sewer and Operations Maintenance Fund, Department 50 Appropriation Unit 50 AX82. And let's see, who's presenting? Alan Tran. Thank you, sir.
Good morning, President Pro Tem Davis.
Yes, sir.
Board Commissioners, City Attorney, and Executive Officer. My name is Alan Tran with LA Sanitation. Today we are here to ask for your approval of an AFE for encumbrance to pay for the Green Acre Farm property tax. Green Acre Farm property is owned by the City of LA. And the size of the farm is about 4,628 acres. And the site is being used for land application of the city biosolid. The requested amount is $160,600 for the fiscal year 24-25 from July 1st, 2024 through June 30, 2025. The funding will come from the sewer operation and maintenance fund. Therefore, there will be no impact on the general fund. And that's conclude my report.
Great. We do have public comment from Audit LA on this item number 8.
Okay, so we're almost wrapping this up. Again, with the Department of Sanitation, I actually appreciate everything they do. You know, I mean, they come and they help, you know, they take away the trash. You do a lot more than that. I don't really understand all of this, so it's like, I just hope we're not spending too much money on other counties. So, you know, like I said, they're smarter people than me. But when it comes to sanitation, I just want them to ask them to be more thorough. Like, what I've been coming here for, you know, to please remove the cement, the planters that are not ADA compliant. They're not fire department compliant, they're not anything compliant, but they also do at the same time, but before you remove them, which I'm hoping you will be ordered to do so very shortly, to remember that also to do like ecological, make sure it's safe to remove that. They don't just, because I wouldn't want the workers, especially union guy over here, all right, we got to protect our workers, that I would not want them to handle anything that's very hazardous. So I would really suggest to get a hazmat team out there and get the proper disposal of these planters as soon as possible. And I will yield back the rest of my time and wish everyone a wonderful weekend because you're closed Friday, right? So thank you.
Great, thank you.
And we do have one caller with a hand raised on the Zoom platform. Yvonne Best, would you like to speak on item number 8?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I am concerned that the rate in that for the sewage includes a portion of which is refunding the city taxes on property that is a public utility. It seems to me that that is a portion of the sewage bill that is a duplicate payment by the property owners, whoever is paying sewers fees. it appears to be a bit of double dipping, in my opinion. The sewage company is a public works entity. We pay taxes for public works. Now we're paying taxes on top of that tax. The institutions such as Church of Scientology does not pay property tax. So I'm confused at the legality of this transaction, and I understand that this is how things have been done in the past, but it raises the question to me that if the consumer is already paying this tax from the fact that they are paying for the service, why is this a property taxed location, and therefore increase the sewer bills of everybody that is being billed for services? I'm not sure I've explained that correctly, but I think this is an unnecessary tax on top of a tax.
Thank you. That's
Thank
2
you.
minutes, Yvonne. Thank you. And that concludes commentary on item number 8.
Any questions, commissioners, of Mr. Trans on item number 8? None? Okay, having heard none, may I have a second to my motion to accept item number 8?
Second.
Okay, it's a motion by me and seconded by Commissioner Grant to accept item number 8.
And very well, we'll take a roll call vote on approval of item number 8, starting with you, President Pro Tem Davis.
Davis, aye.
Commissioner Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Korsand. Aye. And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
And that's unanimous, all ayes. Item number 8 is approved and will move forward forthwith.
And Mr. Executive Officer, have we cleared all items on the agenda?
Yes, we have. President Pro Tem Davis, if I could please just make a friendly reminder, as Audit LA referred to, we do not have a meeting on this Friday, the 11th of October, in observance of Yom Kippur, and our next meeting will be next Wednesday, the 16th of October.
Thank you. We are now adjourned. Thank you.